Hello, boys and girls. My name is Miss Hamilton, and I am one of the math teachers for fourth grade. Welcome back to a great school year. Today, this recording is a targeted math mini lesson. In this math lesson, we will review expanded notation, frequency tables, and dot plots. You will need your math notebook and your pencil. So get those items ready before we begin. For our first topic, we will review expanded notation. In this lesson, we will review how to represent the value of a digit using expanded notation. This is one of your fourth grade TEK 4.2b, which states represent the value of the digit in whole numbers through 1 billion and decimals to the hundredths using expanded notation and numerals. If at any time the video is going too fast, you can always pause the video to catch up. Let's take a look at an anchor chart on expanded notation to help you remember what expanded notation involves. Expanded notation is simply a way to write numbers and digits according to their place value. It expands that number, and in expanding that number, you are stating in that statement exactly what the digit's place value is. For example, let's look at the first example there on the anchor chart, which is 2,145. Well, when this number is written in expanded notation, each digit is identified according to its place value. The digit 2 is in the thousands place. So you would write that as 2 times 1,000 plus the next digit, which is a 1. The 1 is in the hundreds place. So you would write that 1 times 100 plus the next digit, which is a 4. The 4 is in the tens place. So you would write that 4 times 10 plus the last digit, which is a 5. And the 5 is in the ones place. So you would write that as 5 times 1. All right, this should look familiar. You learn how to write expanded notation during third grade. All right, for this topic of expanded notation, we are going to work through 2 separate problems. And when you are working through these recorded lessons, you are expected to open your notebook, your math notebook, to a clean page and grab your pencil. And you are to write down each step as the problems are modeled by the teacher. This provides you with modeled problems that you can reference back to when you are practicing these types of problems. If you need more time, simply pause the video. So let's take a look at our first I do problem. It says to write the number below in expanded notation form. And you can see there that the number is a very lengthy number. It has a number of digits in it. All right, so it wants us to write this number in expanded notation, which means we are going to expand this number by identifying each digit in the number according to its place value. The first thing we want to do is to use our place value chart. You can make a place value chart at any time. You should know your place values. And as a fourth grader, you're expected to know whole numbers all the way up to 1 billion and decimals all the way to hundreds. Hundreds. All right. So the number that we're using in our example involves whole numbers only. So we're going to set up our place value chart along with, we're going to draw that out along with our number. And this is what it's going to look like. And doing this process helps you to identify your digits. Because when you're dealing with numbers that have a large number of digits in them, it is very easy to get lost in terms of the place value. So that place value chart, by sketching that out, taking the time and making that a part of your practice to chart that place value out. That will keep you from making very simple place value mistakes. All right, so we've drawn out our place value chart. We can see, according to our chart, what the place value is for each digit. Now that you have identified the place value of each digit in the number using the place value chart, you are ready to write the number in expanded notation form. And that is 8 times 1 billion plus 9 times 100 million plus 4 times 10 million plus 5 times 1 million plus 3 times 100,000 plus 2 times 10,000 plus 5 times 1,000 plus 9 times 10 plus 1. That is the expanded notation form of the number given. So think about what that number is and what each of the digits represent. Why is the hundreds place not listed in the expanded notation format? And that is because if you look at the number in the hundreds place, the digit is a 0. So the hundreds are not identified in the expanded notation form because the digit is 0. On the same page in your math notebook, we're going to work a second expanded notation problem together. So write down the number that you see on the screen. If you need more time in order to write this number down so that we can work together to write the expanded notation format of this number, make sure that you pause your video if you do need more time. The second thing we will do is to create our place value chart on top of the number that you just wrote down. For each digit, you are going to identify in the place value chart what place value that digit represents. If you'll notice, in this particular number, there is a decimal point. And to the right of the decimal point are 2 place values, tenths and hundredths. And as a fourth grader, you are expected to not only be able to recognize all, digits all the way up to billions, but also to be able to identify the place value of digits in the tenths and the hundredths place, which is to the right of the decimal point. So using the chart example that I have here on the screen, you are going to create this place value chart on top of the number that you just wrote down so that you can easily identify the place values of each of the digits in this number. Now that you've identified the place value of each one of the digits in the number, you are now ready to write the expanded notation form. All right. And when you write this down, this is what you are going to have as your answer. 4 times 1 billion, plus 8 times 10 million, plus 4 times 1 million, plus 9 times 100,000, plus 3 times 1,000, plus 7 times 100, plus 8 times 10, plus 1 times 1/10, plus 6 times 100. All right, that is the expanded notation format for this number. So let me ask you this. Why are the 100 millions, 10,000s, and ones place not listed in the expanded notation format? And if you look at your number, you can easily see that in the 100 millions, 10,000s, and ones place, there is the digit 0, which means there is no number in those particular place values. So that means that you do not have to list those place values when you are writing expanded notation format.